Right, Rod, tell me about where did it start for you and your customers?
Yeah, okay. Look, this was a simple walk-in to Pakenham branch. Clients came in, wanted to quickly discuss their age pension entitlements, quickly found out they're not entitled to it yet, but we sat down and had a bit of a chat about their retirement objectives.
Brilliant. And when you first met with the clients, tell me a bit about what you learned about them, how were they feeling at the current time, and sort of your general discussion the first time.
Yeah, so both clients, Pete is 65 and Deb is 61. They're currently on New Start, both of them, though not being forced to actively look for work so much, but stuck on welfare payments. They'd had a failed business up in the Dandenongs, a milk bar, and that's left them a bit shattered and disappointed. They were let down by a few people, so their confidence was a bit low. So they also came in, they knew they had some superannuation, but their superannuation was something they didn't understand it, and they were kind of scared of it.
Yeah. Brilliant. And what were some of the emotions or personal circumstances that you had to navigate throughout your advice process or your interactions with these clients?
Yeah, look, because of their recent history, these people could not see a pathway forward. They were stuck in the moment. They were hoping like hell that something would change, but nothing was changing. And they couldn't see beyond, in fact, the longest they were looking was 6 months now, because that's when Pete's going to qualify for age pension. Beyond that, they couldn't see any further than that. When questioned, they felt they were chronically underfunded for retirement, and they just couldn't move forward knowing that.
Brilliant. And so I guess, what was the advice that you gave them? And more importantly, after that advice, what's the outcome, I guess, from a strategy perspective and then from a client perspective?
I was really fortunate, Mark, because they happened to have 300,000 in super. I didn't know it at the time. And here I am showing them how 300 can feel like $1 million in retirement. And the look on their face and their expression just began to change. I didn't know. And they started pointing at the 300 and they said, we've got 300. And I think they saw I saw a real confidence come across, smiling, really engaged as well with that. So I think the overwhelming thing was relief that they kept using the phrase, so you reckon we'll be okay? And I kept trying to talk all about strategy and this and that, and they said, so we're going to be okay. And I probably missed the mark a little bit there because, yeah, they're going to be okay. And I needed to tell them that. Deb started crying, and me being me, I said, have I said something wrong? And she said, no, not at all. This is the best news I've had in such a long time. Strategy-wise, real basic stuff. He's got some super, she's got some super. When questioned, there's some inheritance money coming up later on as well. So we just talked about creating a long-term bucket of money for them. He tipping his in when he retires, when he reaches pension age, sorry. Her tipping hers in later, tipping some in here, together with whatever welfare payments they're able to get, creating an income stream of about $50,000 a year. For me, I was getting excited. I was talking about tipping out tax upon death, binding nominations, and asset allocation that's going to get through an active manager. They kept asking me the same question. So you reckon we're going to be okay? And that was the answer, yeah, everything's going to be okay. And I sort of got the impression that they're really glad they met me.
Brilliant. And question without notice, why this story? Why do you think this is a really good example of quality advice?
Because it's not about the money, it's about the emotion. I've personally gained more feedback internally from this than any advice I've given in the last 10 years. The client crying in front of me through relief, this was different. These were people who were just stopped and blocked and couldn't see a pathway forward. Now they're talking about trips interstate in retirement and different things. They're already thinking about things in 10 years' time. It's a game changer for me.
Brilliant.